What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to Got to Shoot, my weekly episode show where I talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling, primarily the WWE. And what we have here is a predictions episode for WWE Clash in Italy, happening this Sunday, not Saturday, Sunday at 2 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time, my time. So when you're from Raw, it's also 1 p.m. Central Time, so make sure that you are going to be, make sure you have that knocked down for that as well. It's on Netflix, so you want to make sure you have that down as well. Alrighty, so we got 5 matches. No other predictions need to be made or anything like that. Just gonna predict five of the 5 matches. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into it right now. For the Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch takes on Sol Ruka. So Sol Ruka lost her first match. She beat Becky Lynch by disqualification at the Saturday Night's main event last Saturday. So they're giving her a shot at any kind of change from now. So there's a part of me that says, you go ahead and you put the match. You go ahead and you put the title on Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka, she's upcoming news. She got things for it. Yeah, why not put the title on her? But if you not put the title on her, then why hasn't she won like her matches? Like she's lost. She lost the first 2 matches to Liv and to Io, and she won this one. She won this one by disqualification. So I understand that they wanted to have Becky Lynch get the title, become a 3-time Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. I had no problem with that, especially the fact that AJ Lee was probably going to, as she has said, probably go away for a little bit. She'll probably be back, but yeah, there was no need for her to have the title if you were going, if she wasn't going to stay around, so to speak, in some form or fashion. So yeah, put the title on Becky Lynch. So, but then you have Becky Lynch be the because here's the thing with Becky Lynch. She, as the heel, I mean, who does she have to box with other than other than her? I guess you could do Becky Lynch and Io. That would be something to see. But Becky Lynch and Io doesn't really need to have a championship. You can do Becky Lynch and Io, just straight up. And I think that would be a fantastic way to do it. You can do, you got all of the girls in the tag division, Lyra and Bayley. Do them. So yeah. So, but and having any kind of championship be a part of this could be very interesting as well, especially for Io Sky. So, but what do you do here for Sol Ruka? I mean, is this just going to be the thing where you have Sol Ruka? Do you really want Sol Ruka to take another loss? I guess she could win this time by count out. She could win by count out but still not have the championship. So, this was a tough one. These predictions are not going to be as easy as they were last time for Backlash. So, because I think in every one they could go either way. So, with that said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna say that there are more heels than baby faces as of right now, or at least who are healthy. And I think putting the title on Sol Ruka makes sense because she can do the Judgment Day. She can do Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think about the Raw Women's Division, and the Raw Women's Division is kind of, yeah. That's kind of one I didn't expect. So, I say. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and say Soruka. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump on the bandwagon. Soruka should win the Intercontinental Championship, have her the champion, and we'll just see what goes on from there. So, but Soruka winning the Intercontinental Championship. For the WWE Women's Championship, champion Rhea Ripley takes on Jade Cargill in a WrestleMania rematch. Now, I'm picking Rhea Ripley, but as I said earlier, I think they can each go either way. Maybe you do the Rhea Ripley, win at WrestleMania just so that just so that she has to win. It help the fans like it, yada yada yada, and also maybe you don't want Jade Cargill to you don't want to put a WrestleMania thing on her because she won her first. She won at 40. She won at 41. If she wins at 42, people are going to start saying, okay, now she's got a WrestleMania streak, just like they did with Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair had a WrestleMania streak, and even she was talking about it. And then she got beat, at WrestleMania, 41. So maybe they didn't want to put the streak on Jade Cargill that quickly, and things like that. Now, what I would say is that you give Jade a faction, a couple of factions. Now, the way Jade talked, she did some stuff this week on ESPN, and she was talking as if no. So maybe they could be talking about having B-Fab Meechin, be taken away from Jade Cargill. Maybe they don't like what she said, yada yada, and then just leave Jade high and dry. This would be okay. But I kind of think that with Bianca on the shelf with pregnancy, it's going to be a long time before we get the Jade Cargill Bianca Belair match that we all I think wanted to see. So putting the title on Jade, back on Jade, it not be a good thing. Now she has the thing working with Charlotte, and she could, Charlotte could be her next thing after Rhea Ripley, or they could do the third Jade and Rhea match and things like that. And then we also have to look at now Night of Champions happening and King of the Ring coming up. So who does that look like? Who would be the Queen of the Ring? To get the match at SummerSlam. The only people I think that would win it would be Soruka, and Soruka would win it, and then Blake Monroe, the two female call-ups. That should actually be the final. The final should be Blake Monroe versus Soruka, whether she's the Intercontinental Champion or not. I would see Blake win. I think Blake could be a good foil for Rhea Ripley. So I think that's the case. So I'm gonna choose Rhea Ripley. I think this one might be the easiest one to pick, but I would not be surprised if they would put the title back on Jade Cargill. So out of retirement comes Brock Lesnar to get a WrestleMania rematch against Oba Femi. There were some people who thought maybe Brock Lesnar wasn't really retired or anything like that, and I think that was understandable. I'm not been like this. I'm trying to take everything that they give us, they show us on TV, for the most part at face value, especially when it comes to things that could be considered real life. Like Brock Lesnar retiring that's a real life thing. So Seth Rollins getting hurt on main event could be a real life thing, right? So I'm trying to figure out what was the deal, and what could that be? So so I think that's the way to do it, right? Um, that could be that. So I'm trying to figure that out. But to me, this feels like it's a 3-match thing, right? Right? Oba won the first one. Brock wins this one, and then Oba would win a third one, whether that's at Night of Champions, or SummerSlam, whatever. So what happens? So how does Brock Lesnar beat Oba Femi? I personally think maybe the best way to do this, and I think the best way to do this, is for Brock Lesnar to quote unquote break Oba's arm. He's taking down Oba, and Oba's kicking out of every F5 you're giving him. Who does Oba think he is? Roman Reigns kicking out of F5s? So so as and then Oba comes back and he does the Brock throwing him with this suplex, and he's getting ready to hit him with for the fall of grace, and as he picks him up, Lesnar's able to counter, get the Kimura on him, and he takes him to the ground, and Oba just won't tap out. Oba's trying to grab for the ropes, things like that, and then Brock goes there, and Oba just and then Brock lets the referee makes Brock let go. Referee says it down. He calls over the trainer. The trainer comes out. They call the match. Brock Lesnar has broken Oba from his arm. The winner, Brock Lesnar. And here's what the thing, because if they are gonna do a third match at SummerSlam, right? If it's at some, or even if it's just like later on, there's a Madison Square Garden Saturday night's main event happening in July. I saw something on Twitter that Brock Lesnar isn't scheduled for that one, but that doesn't mean that he can't be there. And have Brock Lesnar Oba Femi number 3 be the main event of Saturday night's main event. That would be incredible. But if you do that and you break Oba's arm, the bone takes 6 weeks to heal. So on 31st, so you're talking about, you're talking about 2 months. He would be off television June and July, or June into July. And if you're gonna do that SummerSlam, that would be. But then he would come back, right? He would come back. They could do the whole thing. This is Brock Lesnar's hometown for SummerSlam. Who's gonna challenge? And then we get the Oba Femi, we get that, and challenge in one last match. The rubber match, one last match. Maybe even if you want to make it a special match, maybe you make it an I Quit. Maybe you make it an I Quit match. And Brock Lesnar quits. He quits completely, or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you do, but you find another way to do it, right? And that's how you do the third match. I think Brock Lesnar beating Oba Femi with an F5 suplex, thing like that, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Oba Femi. Now, if Brock Lesnar would be the person to do it, but I just don't think that makes any sense. But man, breaking that arm just makes so much sense. And by the way, it also keeps Oba Femi off of television, because what else are you going to do with Oba Femi? You're trying to do this open challenge, and then they somehow nobody wants to give it open challenge. And you're not putting them in the Intercontinental Championship division, are you? At least not yet. So, yeah, who knows what. So I think that's a perfect way to do this. to do this, and so I'm choosing Brock Lesnar to win, and hopefully, the people in WWE as are thinking along my lines the same way, that that's the way to have Brock Lesnar beat over Femi, while also while doing this angle to take over off television. I think that's perfect. For the undisputed WWE Championships, Cody Rhodes taking on Gunther. Now, when this would happen, I immediately thought, perfect. Yep, Gunther. Gunther's the champion. Put the title on Gunther. And Gunther holds it. He holds it until next WrestleMania, when you can put it on Trick. Now, how you gonna have Trick beat Gunther? I'm not sure, but but I think that's the way to do it. Or even if you have them switch brand, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I mean to say Gunther. But then there's people talking, and I forget. They've got the Night of Champions thing. If they're gonna do the champion versus champion thing again, do you want Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns versus Gunther? As good as Roman Reigns versus Gunther is, and there's been talk about that wanting they wanting to do that, for Roman, they wanted to have that match. Roman versus Cody, just seems inevitable. It just seems inevitable. And I totally could see it, that Cody Rhodes wins this. I truly think it could be. So here's a question here. I did a video maybe a month or so ago, talking about how happy I was for Charlotte, at the fact that this babyface run that she's had over the past year or so, with maybe not even being a year, but it's been 8 or 9 months being with Alexa Bliss, and how the fans have just been so shared to her, because they love the fact that she's gone on a quote unquote side quest. She just hasn't been in the championship picture. She's gone on a side quest here with Alexa Bliss and something like that. And there are people starting to wonder about Cody. Cody is starting to get booed in the Randy thing, and you wonder if Cody Rhodes needs a side quest. You wonder if Cody Rhodes needs a side quest. Does he need to feud with other people? Does he need to team up with somebody and become the tag champions, or something like that? That's interesting. I really do. And I think that could be the case. So, but I'm gonna choose Cody Rhodes here. I really think that they're just gonna end up doing Roman and Cody 3, at this at Night of Champions, and just have it done with. Just have it done with, because maybe it should have been done at this WrestleMania. Maybe it should have been done last WrestleMania. Who knows? But yeah, Cody Roman 3, I think is gonna happen at thing. And the main event of WWE Clash of Italy, the World Heavyweight Championship, is on the line in tribal combat. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. Now, I could maybe see why they would do this for Roman, right? At least for Jacob. Why Jacob could win. I can see that. To me, there's no reason Jacob Fatu should win this. There's absolutely no reason. Why does Jacob Fatu if this was in tribal combat, I would say maybe it's more of a 50-50 thing. But because it's tribal combat, and not only does the winner win the championship, but he becomes the tribal chief. This is not the time. This is not the, unless we're gonna get a surprise retirement from Roman Reigns. Unless we're getting a surprise retirement from Roman Reigns, which again at this point, if that's happening, why the hell when you do Obafemi? Why would you when you do it? Wait, so, but Roman's got a lot of stroke. He's got a lot of political gain. You know, he could, if he wanted to put it on Jacob, I see why they would do that with Jacob, and then have Jacob lose it to Obafemi. But yeah, this is gonna be Roman Reigns right here. It gotta be Roman Reigns, and then you wonder, so then what happens with Jacob Fatu? When Jacob Fatu serves the tribal chief, what happens then? You know, I don't know. I'm not very sure about that. But I believe at some point Roman and the Usos are gonna make a full, true heel turn. And you know, they've been like, they're doing things that are heelish. The way they talk, the way they speak, the way they act, the way they do things. The 3-on-1 jump from Jacob Fatu, that was a heel thing to do. To go 3-on-1. That's a heel thing that happens. So I think what they're doing is that they're getting the bloodline together. They're setting up the bloodline to come back together as one full unit. I think at some point Solo, Tama, and Tala will join them as well, and then it will be the entire bloodline, and they'll have the bloodline on both shows, on Raw and on SmackDown, and you have the control of the thing. They may even send Jacob back to SmackDown to be the guy overseeing everything. Who knows? Or maybe they send Jay over there. Or you never know what happens, right? So I think that's what we're going to see from them. That being said, I think this is Roman Reigns, and I'm going to have a lot of questions, you know, if Jacob Fatu ends up winning this match. I'm going to have a lot of questions. I don't know if I'll be angry. I might be a little angry because Roman is my guy. So I might be a little angry, but this would be something I really would need to see. Really need to see. Alright, folks, so here's the recap. Sol Ruka wins the Intercontinental Championship from Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley retains the WWE Women's Championship over Jade Cargill. Brock Lesnar beats Obafemi and hopefully, you know, in kayfabe, breaks his arm. Cody Rhodes retains the WWE Championship over Gunther, and Roman Reigns retains the World Heavyweight Championship, you know, over Jacob Fatu in Tribal Council. So there you have it, guys. My predictions for WWE Clash in Italy. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Let me know how you guys feel about let me know your predictions for Clash as Italy as well. So I've been doing prediction streams using WWE 2K 26 to predict what's going to happen, and I'm going to do that Sunday before the actual show. So if you go over, if you look in my description box down below, there is my gaming channel, AJTRIP Gaming. There is my Twitch channel. There is my Kick channel. You can, actually what you should do, you should go and follow / subscribe to all three of those. But Sunday afternoon, before you get ready for Clash of Champions, sit down and watch WWE 2K predicts what happens in Clash in Italy from WWE 2K on WWE 2K 26 from me. I will be having the matches, and the computer will be playing them, and we'll see what they think. Should be a good fun stream. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.